Hello, Lisa. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Oh, you sound great.
Oh, good.
Outstanding. Yeah, outstanding. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to mute your mic, and then I'm going to finish the intro, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show, where we celebrate the power of words and the beauty of storytelling. Join us every week. We have conversations with authors and small business owners. We have exciting lineup of guests who will take us on a literary journey like no other. Join us as we delve into the world of authors and small business owners from diverse backgrounds and cultures, each bringing their own unique perspective and voice to the table. From thrilling memoirs to captivating fiction and business startups, our guests will share their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs, offering us a glimpse into the rich tapestry of human experience. Immerse yourself in the magic of words and discovery as we explore the global literary landscape together. So grab a cup of tea, cozy up by the fire, and join us on this adventure of a lifetime. The Hollis Chapman Show is your ticket to a world of imagination, inspiration, and enlightenment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with some of the most talented and compelling voices in literature today. Tune in and let the journey begin.
Hello, and welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show. I'm Hollis. Happy Tuesday to y'all. Very excited to have our special guest here. Our guest is a Finnish Canadian author, book coach, and former teacher. Like I'm a former teacher. Okay, she is a certified fiction, memoir, book coach. I'll have her add more to that. That's pretty good. But she's here. She talked about her newest book. Very excited to have her here. Let's welcome to the show our special guest, Liisa Kovala.
That's nice to see you or hear you, I guess.
Yeah, I always see you too. So I pretend I see you. You look good. You're sitting there. You're sitting up tall. So yeah, I'm glad to see you as well. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
You
Amazing.
know, I practiced your last name for all morning, and I think I always overdo it. So when I actually got to do it, I always mispronounce it. So I apologize. Okay.
No
Uh,
worries.
okay. So tell us more about yourself and your latest book, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I'm Finnish Canadian. I was born in Canada, but I grew up in a really Finnish community, and my parents were Finnish,
Mm,
family, neighbors. So I was just really interested in all things about my culture. And I still have lots of family in Finland too. I've been there several times. So when I started writing really seriously, I was interested in historical fiction, and I wanted to know more about different events that happen in Finnish history, but also immigrants coming to Canada and the United States and knowing what that experience was like at different times. So, like Water for Weary Souls, my latest historical novel, is really looking at a particular time period in history. And we all know that in the 30s, there was a Great Depression and everyone was struggling. And I was interested in knowing about these Finnish immigrants who, what was life like for them? In particular, the women I was interested in, and what kinds of uh, jobs they took on. A lot of them were domestics, but I learned from a great historian, Barbara Lindstrom. She wrote a book called Defiant Sisters. I learned that some of those women were had brothels. Some of them were bootleggers. Like this is not the stories my parents told me about Finnish people. So I'm
mm.
really interested in that. And so, of course, those are the kinds of things that end up in the book because, people make lots of different kinds of choices when times are tough.
Yeah, very good. I usually ask this around the middle of the show, but I want to ask you now. Like Water for Weary Souls, kind of talk about that title and kind of describe the wonderful book cover you have too. So kind of paint
Um,
that picture of how you got the title and just kind of paint the picture for our listeners to cover.
yeah, absolutely. The title comes from a passage from Proverbs,
Oh,
and the original passage goes something um, like cold water. No, from good news from far away. Oh, I'm gonna get the passage wrong now. For as cold water for a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. So
oh,
I loved that because my one of my characters ends up traveling back to Soviet Karelia and is sending news back to his fiance, and she's always waiting for a letter from him, always wanting to know what's going on with him. The dream is that she will meet him there and they will marry. So that was part of it. And then the other part of it was that idea of weary souls during the Depression and other times. Like we can talk about that as the current day.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all a little weary right now. And water has a lot of symbolic significance. So water can give life, but it can also take it away. And that
Yeah.
is something that happens in this particular story. And the cover art is, look, I'm really pleased with it. The cover designer was Mark Harris, and he used a very Northern Ontario feeling. Anyone who's been sort of in Northern United States, Northern Canada, will recognize a landscape that is filled with like a forestry, lots of trees, pine trees, and a winding river and snow sort of draping over the trees. And then it has this beautiful crow um, flying over the word souls. And I just loved what he did. He really captured the essence of the story and that kind
Beautiful.
of there's a bit of darkness, but there's also
Yeah.
some hope there as well.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's outstanding. Okay, to your book. Can you talk about the inspiration behind setting the story in Depression area? So you talk about a little bit. So the Depression area in Northern Ontario. So kind of bring yourself back. You start thinking, okay, this is a good thing to write about. Historical backdrop. So kind of share with us that Northern Ontario Depression and the hard times they were going through.
Yeah, so I live in a town called Sudbury, Ontario. So it's about maybe 3.5, 4 hours north of Toronto. And we have a big, like I said earlier, a big Finnish community here.
Yeah.
And my mom was born in the early 30s in a small farming community nearby. And she actually went to high school in Sudbury and lived in a boarding house. So I was interested in the Depression era because, times are tough. Everyone was struggling. The mining town, in some ways, was doing possibly a little bit better than some locations because they still had this mining going on, but everyone was struggling and work was not there, and people were getting laid off, and there were lots of lines for food and food shortages and all the things that people experience all over North America and elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I thought that's an interesting time period to write and put my two sisters in. And of course, because of my mom's connection to this small community, farming community of Wanap, I thought, okay, well, let's have them from this community and make that big decision for young women to go out on their own and live in the, big city, which it wasn't that big at the time, but it was for them from a farming community, felt like a big city, and try to make their own way. And that's kind of the story of all young people, right? Like
Yeah.
that need to leave home, that need to be on their own and to, pursue their own things. But it's a particularly difficult time period for them. They end up in a boarding house that closes down because of financial constraints. And they find a place to live for, just a short time. They're going to go live in this place. One of the sisters says, it's not forever. And they end up renting a room from a woman who runs a brothel. so,
Mhm.
so it becomes, a situation that is not what their mother, who's quite religious, would approve of. And so they don't really share that with their mother. And so I just wanted to kind of look at that time